YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and I am back in the Itza campaign with Gor-Rok. We are ready to keep smashing our way through the disgusting Skaven and making sure that Lustria is all lizard pure here. Hey, thank you for coming back, and let me just say thank you. I mean, the amount of views, the watch time, and likes, and everything you all are supporting, the comments on this new campaign, thank you. That's absolutely amazing. You're fantastic. I appreciate you being here. Please continue to do so. I will keep making these for you just as quick as I can to try and show my appreciation back to all the awesome support you all are giving me on this. I love making it. It is a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. So I'm really glad that you all are enjoying it. It's very enjoyable for me to make for you. So here we are. I think on this episode I want to focus on taking the Altar of the Horned Rat, which is one of our missions, and the Marks of the Old One. And again, we've got to purge the Skaven and remove their threat from all the lizardmen here with Gor-Rok. So we can issue a commandment at River Gervesa. So I'm going to go ahead and do this growth public order combo and end a turn. Look at this. Skrulk thinks he's a big boy. Wants to roll with the big lizards here, huh? Let's see, Skrulk. Let's see how it goes for you, ugly. Oh, look at this! The Skrulk give all of his buddies a sense of success. I mean, did they not see what I did to Clan Spittle and Clan Mange or whatever that other disgusting was when I started? Did they not see the wanton slaughter that we imposed on the other side? I guess not. I guess not. That's okay. I'm happy to deliver. Happy to deliver. Alright, with the turn ended there, we actually completed a mission, which is to issue a commandment across a province. We've done that now. Pick up 500 in the treasury. We've been issued a mission now to recruit a lord, and we'll gain 4 ancient plaques. Should have been another mission completed here too, which is to hold the entirety of 2 provinces, which I think is already done. We need to still search a settlement, perform the rite of resilience, which is not available to us yet as well. Okay, let's take Gor-Rok, and we need to stay on the move. The Altar of the Horned Rat is actually one of our missions, and we're going to move in on it. Now, with these other factions declaring war on me, I think it's important to do a couple of things. One, make sure I get defenses into all my settlements where I can. Itza doesn't have defenses at the moment, but it does have walls, and it's got a pretty substantial garrison behind it, especially against any early Skaven units. So we really need to focus on the defense of Kitax, Ketza, and Chakwa. I have a lot of money. There's no reason why we can't recruit up a skink army, which a lot of you are commenting on the types of armies you want to see. Pretty much in unison, people are saying an elite Saurus army with Gor-Rok, so I will work on that as soon as I get out of this first phase of the game. We're already mostly there because I'm working on elite Saurus, but we're going to get Temple Guards and Saurus cavalry units and then some elite dinos and stuff into this army ultimately, okay? With a Scar veteran in there as well. And then the other army we should have some skink fun with, and so I think we're going to do a mostly skink army with the other one, so let's see if we can recruit a lord. That was one of our missions anyway. We could have a Kroxigor lord in the skink army too. I think that's fairly acceptable. I mean, I think Kroxigors and skinks, you know, kind of go along in the same vein a lot of times anyway. So let's take a look at some of these. Yeah, we could do a red-crested skink chief, but this is relatively newer content. Like I said, I feel like it still goes in, and this extra movement range could be really handy. Let's get Supine here, Kroxigor. You guys can help me name them in the chat, right? Get down there in the chat. Come up with some names for this Kroxigor. I looked at your army suggestions. We'll be working on that kind of stuff. I know I'm probably not satisfying everyone's army suggestion, but I did look at the army suggestions and feel like what I'm going to do here, we'll have a skink-themed army. We're going to have a Saurus-themed army. Tell me what else you want to see in there, too. Happy to try and work it once we get towards the third army. But I'm thinking skink chief, skink priest, ancient Kroxy, and we'll do like a mix of skinks and Kroxigors, just skinks for now in this army though, okay? And we'll try and stick to, as much as possible, kind of a low-cost skink army. So I'm going to start by just getting some standard infantry built here because we're likely to be attacked from multiple directions, and I want to use our income to our advantage. Now, our income's about to drop a lot, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and spend while we can and taking this up to level 3. I'm going to save my cash and work on putting defenses into all of these settlements. Now, there's really nothing good here I can build defense-wise. If we look at next buildings, I think from a tier 3 standpoint, it'll be good for me to put the cavalry facilities out here in Chakwa, Ketzer, or Kitax, so I'll figure that one out because they only go up to tier 3. Which means we could start with a pterodon hatchery. I certainly want access to Ripperdactyl riders. And we could also go to the more advanced military facility. Like a salamander hunting pack would be really nice to have here too. We just don't have the cash for this one to get stegodons, bastillodons. These guys are definitely really good at stomping Skaven early game, and probably make a lot of sense to go to early, but I also like the idea of getting the sallies. Let's save our cash for a turn and come back to this momentarily. So I'm going to end a turn. Well, look at this. Not a moment too soon, folks. If it isn't old Skrolk.
No point.
You got Skrolk and Obscythe the Blade, whatever the heck that means. That's probably one of the worst names I've ever seen, even for a Skaven. So it's a good thing we started recruiting our Croxy Lord and his Skinks. They are pretty well reinforced here by 3 Temple Guard, 3 Saurus, 4 more Skink cohorts, a Feral Stegi, a couple of Croxies, Cold Ones, and Pterodon Riders. So this will be a pretty formidable, and we get a Saurus Scar Veteran. So we've got plenty of Lord KOing power, so unless those Skaven are stacked with Hell Pit Abominations, I'm feeling pretty confident. So we're going to continue our push onto the altar of the Horned Rat. I'm going to go ahead here and upgrade Croak. We should do the Supreme Shield of the Old Ones here, I think. Actually, let me undo that. We can get to the healing. Let's go ahead and do Supreme Shield of the Old Ones. I'm not really worried about Croak dying just yet. Later on, I think that will be more helpful. Let's get up to Itza. Look at our ability to recruit a Lord. Or, sorry, a hero. We cannot yet get a Skink Priest, unfortunately. We need the Shrine of the Old Ones. So that might actually drive where my buildings go next, though I'm not going to spend any more money in this particular settlement at the moment because it's about to get sieged. But I am going to go ahead and start building lookouts in Ketza, and we'll do the same in Chakwa soon in order to make these settlements less easy for the enemy to bowl over. And I'm going to spend my money to get a Saurus garrison here, and that means walls as well, making it more difficult for the Skaven to get in behind me and cause trouble. That should take care of just about everything we can do for now. Since I have the money, we'll also upgrade the Temple Precinct here. Alright, Landhuapek, however you say that, wants a non-aggression pact. This is good. Lizards stick together here. Alright, Itza has indeed been sieged, and a third army from Clan Pestilence showed up, making sure that my task will be as difficult as possible here. I don't want to remain under siege for long. I mean, we certainly could probably defeat them easy enough if they come after our settlement. I'm going to look and see what it looks like if I sally out against them. I really want this army to be first. I thought I attacked with the settlement. Let's decline attack real quick. See if I can manage to accomplish what I want to here. I'm selecting the settlement and attacking. Yeah, it's still putting supine up front. That's not really what I want. I mean, there's just a lot of clan rats here. Now, the only reason why this is particularly dangerous to me is because, number one, Skrolk is on the other side. Number two, I don't have Lord Croak to delete hundreds of rats at once. So it could be challenging, because we would have to get rid of the leadership of the Skaven, which is certainly possible using an Ancient Croxy. But that means that I get about 7 lower tier infantry and 6 really good infantry to hold off a lot more infantry than that. We do get the assistance of Croxigors. That could be big. We do have cavalry to run down some of their skirmishers. So, I mean, we might certainly have the capability to do this. Yeah, so, I mean, just thinking through all this, I really want to come out and fight them and win. But there's two things I think we have going against us that say, no, don't do this. One, we don't have magic. I can summon a skink priest because of the special ability we have available right now, but that won't be enough. And Skrolk is very difficult to kill, which means breaking the leadership of these Skaven will be also quite challenging. I say we let them try and come at us in the settlement where I can bottle them up and fight in a little bit more favorable position, at least for now. So I'm gonna allow the Skaven to continue the siege for the moment. Another option I would have to do it quickly, and I may very well do it and then just disband them later, would be the consideration of recruiting yet another lord, probably another Kroxigor lord, because they're really good at killing enemy lords, and just getting a few more units behind a Kroxigor lord. And I actually think I'm going to do this real quick, and just bring in a few more units to help out in the fight. Right now it's saying that the local recruitment is full, but that's units that we can't actually recruit right now. So if we get in here, we can get access to a few more red-crested skinks just right off the bat. So I say we recruit those, we push south, bring as many reinforcements to bear as possible, try and beat back the Skaven, disband the army that I no longer need, and at the same time we're pushing forward to the altar of the Horned Rat, which is held by Bilefitch of Clan Spittle, and they have quite a garrison here. Not that it will help them any. I think with a couple of towers I'll be well prepared to take them down, so we're going to siege this way. Like I said, we will certainly be having to fight off Skaven at home. I don't know if we can wait for 2 turns for these guys. They may attack me well before that. I'd love to get more red-crested skinks. That's a risk. We'll just have to see how it plays out. I don't need a Slan Mage right now. Being able to summon Feral Cold Ones would actually be very helpful, but we can't perform it. The capital's under siege and we don't have the funding right now. What's not so funny is that there is actually yet another Clan Pestilence army in my land. This extra army plan is wearing very thin here in its potential to work, and I'm gonna have difficulty even approaching the siege. I'm gonna have to like move forward, go into an ambush stance and hope. But this army is likely to come reinforce here as well, which means that as much as I don't like to lay off, we have to break the siege at the altar of the Horned Rat. Hope that another lizard faction doesn't snatch it out from underneath us, and I'm gonna have to push back with all speed to save my capital. Looks like we can get around this way just about the same speed. So I'm going to head home at full speed with Gor-Rok and make sure that my capital doesn't fall here. We'll be doing everything we can to keep it from happening. Let's see, ammunition for skink units. We've done everything we can there. Recruits for skinks. Additional tradable resources wouldn't hurt. I'm going to work on that next. Says we can build things. The only thing I'm really interested in making sure I'm building right now is just additional defenses for my smaller settlements like Ketza and Chakwa. The Huntsmarshal's expedition has joined the war against us. It's fine. We like being at war with them anyway. Get a few more red-crested skinks in that army. There's no sense in me trying to attack the Skaven this turn with that army because they've moved their 4th army into reinforcement range. Now, if I attacked this end, I think I would still get my reinforcements. They wouldn't get their 4th army. I guess I could see whether or not that's an option, but that would still be a difficult fight to win without magic. It would limit the Skaven's reinforcements. So I would get a Kroxi Lord, but my forces would also be split up, and that seems very risky. I'm going to go ahead and take the risk, and I'm going to leave this army in ambush stance. I mean, some part of me wants to recruit more units, but if I do that, I won't be in ambush stance. The Skaven can pick you off with their little special ambush that they're able to do. There's about to be a rebellion here. I can't imagine why, because they're scaving everywhere. It's in a turn. Hopefully they don't attack Itza on this turn. If they do, we're in trouble. If not, they're dead. Alright, Clan Spittle has grown confident with me breaking the siege. They've pushed, and they will probably take back Slottle from me, depending on how fast I can take care of business on this flank. If I do move up here, I have a big problem, which is the stinking rebellions in my way. It's just downright irritating. And if I fight it, I'm going to take some casualties to it. I know my troops are going to be tired, but I'm going to push forward in this force march like this. I'm going to move up here with these troops. I can't get all the way around that either, so I'm going to have to force march these ones. Come right up behind here. So now I should be getting reinforcements from these guys by taking the settlement, attacking. Now they're going to get all of their reinforcements, but with... Yeah, that's what I thought. They don't want any piece of this. They don't want any piece of this. I want to attack them here, but they're not going to have it. Alright, so we've saved Hexodal. Or, Itza, sorry. Is there some reason why I'm unable to march them back into the settlement? Alright, whatever. Do I get reinforcements from the city for that? I mean, it feels like they're within that reinforcement range. How come I don't get reinforcements? I'm within range. This kind of crap drives me nuts. Alright, whatever. Alright. Well, Itza is safe, and we're going to hunt down these Skaven, get rid of the rebellion all at once. That's, in fact, speaking of, be gone. Skaven in my land. Such a joke. Alright. Now, we could, like I said, get picked off by Skaven here doing their little ambush attack. Let's end the turn. Now, that's exactly what they've done, is come and ambush Gor-Rok. And unfortunately, they've pulled all four of their armies together. I knew that the AI was going to pull this crap, and it is their best chance of victory. Gor-Rok's army is going to be tired in the battle, but we have Croak, and I think that we can win this. Ambushed by Infecticade, in what is going to be one of the most epic campaign battles that you've ever seen on my channel. This is going to be Gor-Rok's army versus what will ultimately be seen as about 6,500 clan rats from Clan Pestilence. So this is going to be a huge army from Clan Pestilence. You can see the first warlord here leading the initial wave. There are already reinforcements coming in from in the back. We've got a warlock master here and even more troops. I do believe, yeah, it's going to be crazy, folks. It's going to be crazy. There's even more reinforcements that came in from back here with another warlord. So the map is just swimming with Skaven at this point. There's already 4,000 that have showed up, and they're beginning their summons here. Now, this is a very, very bad move by me. The Skaven can get access to Doom Rockets, and they will frequently summon a clan rat and then hit you, and that could right there cost me the battle. Now, fortunately for me, the Skaven do not have said Doom Rocket ready. One of the challenges in this particular battle is going to be that the winds of magic are not super high for Croak, and I'm only going to have a very limited number of uses of Deliverance of Itza, and we're going to have to make it count and use the right level of the spell. Sometimes your choices just have to be made carefully in terms of, do you really need a level 3, a level 2, or will a 1 do? Here I'm going to go ahead and drop a Deliverance of Itza. And this should flatten out this entire Skaven infantry blob right there and immediately put Croak on the board with near 250 kills. There's yet another blob right here, which is ripe for destruction. But this is also going to absorb a huge amount of my magic, as one of those was a 2, and I believe this one was a 3. So we're dropping massive damage on the Skaven, but at the same time eating through most of my winds of magic. However, Lord Croak immediately cleaning up nearly 550 Skaven clan rats in the opening phases of the battle. I was hoping to get a quick break against the Skaven early, kill their lord, blow up their guys, but of course I don't know how many Skaven there are because I was ambushed. I'm commentating this afterwards, of course. Now Gor-Rok is an absolute tank. He just beats the crap out of pretty much every Skaven lord he comes across, and it's only going to get better as the campaign goes along because he's just going to get stronger and stronger. You can see him working his way through the warlord quite easily. Some of the problem we're going to have, though, is there's a lot of Skaven slave slingers. Those are going to be annoying to catch. I do have some of my chameleon skinks facing off with them, at least for the moment. See Croak back here picked up another 20 kills in undead melee. And I'm going to fast forward a bit because there's just going to be a period of rats kind of regrouping, running, and regrouping as we have bust the initial wave of Skaven. And thank goodness we did so quite effectively. We've got a lot of troops left because there's a lot of battle left. You can see those Skaven slave slingers are actually going to be very, very annoying here. I'm going to take a lot of shots from them and unfortunately take some unnecessary damage because I just don't have a good answer to them without cavalry. We definitely need to get some Old One cavalry in this game. Gor-Rok was fleeing back from this warlord so I could pin him up in a bunch of Saurus warriors. I actually end up sending the Saurus warriors over here, just avoiding any charge with Gor-Rok because I'm trying to conserve his hit points. I do have a Saurus warrior going afield here that needs to get its way back into battle. Now you can see two Skaven lords, two warlords here up against Gor-Rok, but he does have some Saurus support, so he won't be completely alone. We're starting to push back the Skaven slave slingers over here, and again, just notice I have a couple of Saurus warriors wandering too far off right now, so I don't really have a good angle on them. Now I see a huge ball of Skaven reinforcements coming, and I'm purposefully saving what I believe will be my last deliverance of Itza. If I can get the Skaven to just keep marching in their column and come blob up over here by Gor-Rok, we'll be able to use the deliverance of Itza to best effect. So in the meantime, we'll use the Great Shield here in order to put some massive damage resistance on my troops. Now if we take a look at the map, there are of course more reinforcements gathering over here, including Lord Skrolk. You can see a rather huge ball of reinforcements and yet more off in the background, so I still have yet a huge number of Skaven to go. We're up to 5,300 that are showing up, and at this point the blob is complete and Croak will have his moment. I'm going to go ahead and surround these rats though because I need this to be an absolute decisive moment. I'm going to see some lightning summoned. Oh, actually I'm waiting on this one last unit, I think, to join the ball over here. Yeah, that's what it was. I was waiting on one last unit. Now, Skrolk's approaching me over here. Or, sorry, a Warlock Master. It's not Skrolk at the moment. Just a Warlock Master. Unfortunately, the Skaven are going to get quite a bit of lightning off here. It's pretty frustrating. That's going to be the Warlock Master, I believe, accomplishing that. And now that these Skaven are sufficiently blobbed, and I have units ready for an outflanking maneuver, so we're going to bring in the Deliverance of Itza. Should be able to help us cause max damage here. So the kill count on Croak now 733. And I was like, well, surely that has to be it. And then I looked up at the balance bar. I have killed over 2,000 Skaven already. And there are still 3,000 more on the battlefield. And there are more slingers coming up, plague monks, and other units that are pouring in that are going to mean we're going to have trouble. I, at this point, am pretty much out of Winds of Magic, and I still have this huge ball of Skaven to deal with. So we're going to have to go fight them. I do have a fair number of skinks. A lot of my Saurus warriors are in decent health. Some have taken quite a bit of damage already, like this Saurus Spear, and then I have a couple of units that are far off that I just haven't brought back all the way yet. One of them is on the way back. The other one, I take quite a while to find it. There's still a few more reinforcements coming in from this side of the battlefield, as you all can see. See them coming through the woods here. Shows others. They must be right here on the other side of the pyramid, so quite a lot more Skaven coming from this direction as well. Fortunately for me, the Skaven on this side did go blob up. Unfortunately for me, I mean, I can get over here and surround them, which I'm working on, but I'm also dealing with regrouped units, and then a Plague Claw catapult has parked itself up here on the hill, and I can't allow that to happen, so I'm going to start trying to send some Blessed Chameleon Skinks that way in order to intercept it. And then, like I said, we've got the Skaven balled up here. I just don't have the Winds of Magic to pull down another Deliverance of Itza, or else this would easily be over right here now. The Winds of Magic started low in this battle, and the reserve was also low. And that significantly hampers the power of Lord Kroak. I really need to get a hold of a Wand of Jet or some other arcane casting item in order to really help Kroak suck up the Winds of Magic like a vacuum. The more Winds of Magic he has, the more deadly he is. So you can see I've got some units moved around. I'm attempting to dump some javelins into the back of these fights, and that Plague Claw catapult is getting some extremely painful kills on me right now. It's up to 30 kills almost, though my Chameleon Skinks are on the way to shut it down. But this Saurus warrior took some unfortunate losses there. My Spearman is coming back, dealing with regrouped clan rats back here. A lot of the clan rats have chevrons. It's making them last longer. I did summon a Chameleon Skink, or sorry, a Skink Priest. He needs to be fighting right now. Skink Priest Avatar. So we're going to get him into the fight. There's no Winds of Magic for him to use, unfortunately. And if I did have Winds of Magic, I would have Kroak use it. Kroak's accounted for 745 kills already. This blob in here is just not routing. Despite my continual attempts to kill their lords simply run away. I can't easily catch them. They come back from routing, and the leadership of the Skaven stays just high enough to be increasingly annoying. And then the reinforcements are making it difficult and dangerous for me, though I do manage to get the Plague Claw catapult out of the fight. And if we look at the numbers here, I still have about 3,000 Skaven to go after downing roughly 3,000. So the key is going to be to just continually move and outflank. So I'm doing everything I can to stay on the flanks of the Skaven, but their regrouping units are making that exceedingly difficult. And as I said, when their lord comes back like this one did, I wasn't able to kill him. And it just means that his troops fight on, and for much longer. See here, I'm holding these troops in reserve. I intend to outflank this group, but again, regrouping Skaven all over the place is starting to make this a real nuisance to deal with. My Chameleon Skinks are free and are able to start moving back towards the battle, but we still have a relatively desperate fight on our hands. My Saurus warriors are extremely capable against the Skaven. It's just the numbers. In the end, I will have ended up being outnumbered almost 4-1. And while we used Kroak to delete about 10%, or a little more than 10% of the enemy armies, there's still a lot to go. This feels like some classic Vermintide here, just overwhelming us with huge numbers of rat spawn. Supreme Shield of the Old Ones going off here, and it will be a big help, avoiding a lot of damage on what's left of my troops at this point. So we're able to clear out some clan rats back here, and my Chameleon Skinks again getting closer to being able to return and help the fight. If we look at the tide of battle, I'm down half my troops. The Skaven are down more than half of their troops. But again, we can't seem to tilt the power bar far enough in order to get them to chain route. If I would have just had an extra 20 Winds of Magic reserve, this battle would have been cake. Pure cake. We got our red-crested Skinks here fighting. It's going to be the cohort of Sotek. They've done pretty darn well. Some of my Saurus warriors approaching 300 kills. Give you an idea of just how effective they are. A new blob has kind of formed up here, and it's becoming a dangerous one. Gor-Rok is tired. His troops are tired. They're just fighting huge numbers of rats here. And every time he breaks them, they simply come back and surround and start fighting again. There's only so many times they can break before they will shatter, though. Croak is also getting very low on health. It's becoming a bit of a dangerous situation for him. 772 kills for Croak. Fortunately for me, the chameleon skinks are back, and they've got a good target here to just start pouring poisonous darts into their flank. This can also help cause a rout, but the Skaven outnumber my infantry so much their leadership holds regardless. And then regrouping clan rats are also going to disrupt my action here. So like I said, and now the fight starts to split up even more because of the regrouping Skaven and then more reinforcements that were on the way in. And so the end of this fight is actually fairly dangerous for me. I've got to swing the balance of power, and I've got to do it relatively soon, or else we are going to be in a fair bit of trouble. See, I've got routing units and very few units left to fight. Some of my Saurus warriors down a significant number of troops. Look at that, 201 kills, 196 kills, 342 kills. Some of these units, but look at all the Skaven slave slingers back here. This is a huge problem. They're going to be able to shoot me in the flank, so I decide to go for this blob here. I've got Gor-Rok in it. I've got a Supreme Shield of the old ones. The Warriors of Itza. I'm going to plow in at full force. And the blob does rout. One of the units shattered, but not all. You can see the power bar is still a long ways from causing an entire shattering, but we're down to roughly our last 1,000 Skaven. Our last 1,000 Skaven. I know, just sounds so easy, doesn't it? So for anybody who was watching this campaign thinking that we weren't going to be tested, that this was just going to be too easy for me, well, here you go. This fight is a very tough one. And fortunately for me, the AI's mismanagement of the reinforcements into a blob, feeding Croak an unnecessarily large and wonderful amount of kills, ends up being quite huge. There's very little left for the Skaven now, and I'm going to start blob chasing all their slingers. There's really not a whole lot else for me to do. I've got my chameleon skinks leading that so that they can eventually catch these Skaven slave slingers and then hold them while the rest of my blob catches up. So that's why I've got the fast forward on for the moment. And as we catch and kill a few of these slingers, the power bar will continue to swing. And as their numbers drop, nearing my own, the quality should really start to show. But again, there were more and more regrouping units now that they've routed. Finally get the chain route. Holy mackerel. Good grief, that was a lot of Skaven. And then because of the crappy winds of magic, I was only able to get 800 kills off Croak. I had to make it count. I only got 3 spells off. I can usually get much more than that off with them, so that fight became much, much more difficult than I had anticipated. However, the good news, Infecticay, dead. Obscythe, dead. Plague Rolk, dead. Skrolk, dead. That is going to take care of the Siege of Itza, at least temporarily. Temporarily.